Is there any specific design you would want them to do for a baseball that they haven't necessarily done?
That is a cool question. I would want them to make a commemorative logo based on me. I think it's time for a Zack Hample logo. Are you listening, Rob Manfred? When are we going to see that? I don't know. I've noticed that the logos in recent years have gotten smaller and smaller, and they use less ink because a bigger logo makes it easier for the batters to pick up the spin on the baseballs, and they can recognize pitches better, which gives them an advantage over the hitters. But then again, MLB experimented for a few years with Mother's Day balls with pink stitching and pink stamping. And 1 year in 2017, I believe, for Father's Day, they had light blue stitching and light blue stamping. And there were some other designs as well. And the batters evidently complained that they could not see those baseballs spinning.
Because of the sky?
Because of, I guess, the different color of ink and stitches. So MLB discontinued those, which is a bummer. I would love to see, I think in hockey, doesn't every team have its own logo on the puck, or at least they did at some point?
Something.
I don't know anything about hockey. I admit that. But, it would be cool if every team had its own baseball and there were lots of different colors and stuff. All-Star Game baseballs have multicolored stitches for whatever the home team, whatever city it's in, that team's uniform colors are used for the stitches.
That's pretty cool.
It is, it's beautiful. So I'd love to see more of that, but I guess you don't really want the baseballs to look gimmicky. I'm just glad that there are no advertisements on the ball.
Oh my God.
I don't need to be catching Amazon baseballs or Coca-Cola baseballs. Now I've just ruined those sponsors for your show.
It's okay.
But it's nice that it's just a very clean logo. The classic MLB silhouette logo is a thing of beauty, I think. And it's nice to see that on the baseballs.
I agree. And I can only imagine with the blue stitching, if you're an outfielder and there is blue stitching as you're looking up at the blue sky, that might get a little complicated.
Potentially. Yeah, I think it's harder for the batters than anything, but yeah, that's true.
Now, is there one baseball that you've never caught that you would love to?
I'll always feel bad that I never caught a Babe Ruth home run.
Well,
but yeah, there have been lots of...
Hopefully you'll be able to time travel one day.
Yeah, I would love that. I was just a few feet away from Ken Griffey Jr.'s 600th career home run in Miami. I flew down there just for the purpose of catching that, and then to come so close and not get it was pretty heartbreaking. And there have been plenty of others that I've misjudged, took a bad route through the seats, maybe even said, I'm going to skip this game because I'm so busy, and then they end up hitting one right to the spot where I would have been. I've never gotten a milestone home run where it was important because it was a large number of home runs. Like I've gotten 5 different players' first career home runs, and I got A-Rod's 3,000th hit, but it would be cool to catch like a 500th career home run or something like that. Catching an All-Star Game home run, a World Series home run, those are on my list for someday. So, I feel like everything has to go right to catch a home run, or even to pick one up in the seats if it lands somewhere. If you have to get the right ricochet, you have to get the right people in the stands who weren't sitting right there where it landed. But if any little thing goes wrong, you won't get that baseball. So many close calls every year. I probably have 20 close calls a year, and, a good season, I'll average about 1 homer per month. So maybe 6 in a year I'd feel pretty good about. Right now we're a quarter of the way into the season. I've gotten 2 home runs this year. So on pace for a decent season. But of course, I'm so pissed off about the half dozen baseballs that I coulda, shoulda, woulda already had.
Speaking of baseballs, it's fitting that you brought some baseballs. So what are the baseballs that you brought for the people listening on audio and people watching on YouTube can see? But
yeah. So these are the 2 home run balls that I've gotten during games this year. And I can tell them apart because of how they're marked up and scuffed a little bit. So this one was March 31st, Bryce Harper game home run, his second homer as a member of the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. It was freezing and so crowded, and I had absolutely no business getting this baseball. I wasn't there to catch it. I was there to just kind of hang out and do a video, and I wasn't even in my seat for half the game because I was wandering and eating food for the video. And I went out there late in the game, and it bounced off someone's hands who bobbled it right to me. It was super lucky. So Bryce Harper right there, even though he's struggling this season, I still think he's a future Hall of Famer and one of the great talents in the game.
For
sure. So that's cool. And then this other one is nothing that would sell for a lot of money if it were to be put up for sale, which it won't. But this is an Eddie Rosario home run from Toronto a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And I was sitting out in left center field and he was batting left-handed, so I wasn't really expecting anything from him, but he launched one pretty much straight away to center field. And in Toronto, they have this tarp that covers the seats in dead center, which serves as a backdrop, the batter's eye. It's a black tarp, and it's slanted. And so the ball landed on that, and I ran across two sections to get there, and it started trickling down that tarp, and it rolled onto a metal platform where the TV cameras were on those big tripods. And another fan was reaching out for it, and I was reaching out for it. Neither of us could reach it because there were bars and poles, and I just kind of, according to my videographer who was there and had a good view from the side, he called it a Superman dive. And I just kind of launched myself from the seats onto this platform, got a little banged up. I always make sure to be very careful about other people. I've never injured anybody else. There's a lot of false accusations about how I knock people down and steal balls from kids, but totally not true. That's just haters being haters on Twitter. But if anybody gets banged up, it's going to be me. And, I still have a couple of bruises a week and a half later after that, but I got the baseball, no foul, no harm. And, I'm still waiting to actually catch one directly on the fly this year. And I've been to like 25 games. So I would still argue that I've had bad home run luck this year.